So, Mark, The Mummy from 1999. Give us some box office facts and figures for a kick-off.
It came out, as we said, 1999, the 7th of May 1999 by Universal Pictures. Obviously, it's an old Hammer horror, well, not Hammer horror, but old Universal monster franchise, isn't it?
Like The Mummy and Dracula. And
125 minutes long, which 2 hours and 5 minutes.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Just standard, really.
Do you want to hint at have we got any issues with the runtime? Or?
I don't have any particular issue with the runtime at
2
all.
hours, right? Okay.
No, 2 hours, like, it's all right. It's not the dream. It isn't the dream.
No.
We've already established the dream as an hour and a half. It's not that.
But it does funny for an hour.
Yeah, well, it don't funny. It doesn't funny.
The bad guy don't come into
it. Well, yeah, I know, because that's the point. Anyway, it had a budget of 80 million. It wasn't supposed to have a budget of 80 million at first. When it was first pitched, it was going to be a low budget thing of 15 million.
Yeah.
But
there is
it got up to 80 million. But it made worldwide $416.4 million.
Good money.
So, pretty a hit.
It was a hit, yeah. It was a
definite hit, and as we discussed, I think at the time Universal needed the hit.
Yeah, he was coming off the back of the failure of a Babe film, Pig.
Yeah,
and it was desperate to make money, and this made it.
It made 155.4 million domestic, and it made 261 million worldwide.
Oh, okay.
So it's made money. Everywhere. So who directed it then?
So the film was directed by a guy called Stephen Sommers, pretty competent director, but going off his CV, he directed Mum Returns, he directed Van Helsing. So it's another very similar film.
Yeah, I quite well regard Van Helsing, but it's not a good film. It's not a good film by any stretch of the imagination.
Jackman.
Yeah, but I've got a lot of fond memories of Van Helsing.
And he directed the G.I. Joe film as well, The Rise of Cobra.
Yeah, but let's
not talk about that.
Yeah. I got the impression looking into him is very much he likes a sort of B-movie type thing, and he likes turning it into a blockbustery type thing.
Yeah.
That's sort of what he's known for. That's what he's going for. That's his market, I guess. But yeah, he also directed the live action, the first Disney live action adaptation of one of the things, Jungle Book.
Yeah. He did.
I like that film. Not a lot of people do. Not a lot of people do. I don't think it made particularly any money, but I quite liked it. The animals don't talk in it though.
Oh no. No, that's not Jungle Book.
And you're a bit like, well, what point making a Jungle Book then? But it's a film. From a director. It's a film.
By the director.
It's a film.
The film was produced by a couple of guys called James Jacks and Sean Daniel. Now, these seem to be a production team going off their CVs. They both produced a film called Hard Target, which was a Van Damme vehicle. Mummy Returns, sequel.
Yeah.
And Rat Race.
Yeah, Rat Race.
I thought you'd find that interesting.
Which...
The Race.
Yeah. Again, I quite like Rat Race, but which other film was there that we've done? Rat Race? Doesn't matter.
I can't remember the second.
No.
But there is a connection there. The film was written by Stephen Sommers, the director.
Yeah.
He had a big hand in it. And a guy called Kevin Jarre. I think he was a bit of a hired... a gun-for-hire writer type thing. But he dabbled with Rambo 2 and Tombstone.
Oh, okay.
So Tombstone's a well-regarded Clint Eastwood western from the 90s. And obviously Rambo 2, everyone knows that. Right, so just what I hint at one of the points about the film that I've noticed. And we've mentioned this about some of the films we've watched. We talked about it on the show. The music or the score was by a guy called Jerry Goldsmith, who's a really super famous film score composer. Now he's done all the Rambos, he did Poltergeist, Jurassic Park 2, Total Recall. The guy's CV is just big film after big film after big film. Now for me, not to get ahead of myself in terms of discussing the film or talking about certain points, but I found the score very unforgettable compared to some of the films we've mentioned.
Very unforgettable.
Yeah.
Unforgettable.
Yeah.
What do you mean? So you really liked it?
I mean, forgettable, sorry.
No, absolutely not. You're wrong. It fits the film wonderfully. You're wrong. You are 100% wrong. I could sense this coming from you. I think you're going to go right film snobby about this. You are. You're going to go right film snobby.
I found it, it got lost in it for me.
I really enjoyed the score. I really like the score.
Compared to some of the stuff he's done? That's so memorable.
No, I don't think necessarily the best that he's ever done. What were it? Like, Jurassic Park were on there.
Jurassic Park 2, yeah, Lost World.
Oh, well, still, I still like the score. And it might not be his best work, but I still think that this has a good score.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? You're wrong, Chris. You're just absolutely wrong.
No,
you are. I bet you, if you ask nearly anyone, they'd be like, "Oh no, I like the score."
Well, they're wrong.
It's you.
It's not.
It's you. Right. At some point, you've got to think to yourself: if everyone else is like, "No, I quite like it," it is you.
No,
at that point, it is just you.
It's not.
You can have your opinions, whatever, but everyone else has agreed, and it's like you're wrong. It's fine.
No, like I say, it just highlighted for me because we've discussed some great scores recently.
I don't even necessarily think that it's the best one that we've reviewed.
No,
score.
No.
But it fits the film perfect. I don't understand where you're like, it doesn't fit the film.
No, I'm not saying it doesn't fit the film. I just found it very forgettable.
Okay. Because at no point did I ever think, oh, that's an odd piece of music to have. Or
no, not odd, but not necessarily not fitting. But for me, it just wasn't. It was just
okay.
As a score.
Okay. No, but that's what I mean. You can say you don't particularly like the pieces of music, but I don't think you can say it's as the score, because the score is how it fits in the film, and it fits really well in the film.
All right, well, that's your opinion.
Okay, yeah.
And that's fine. And we're here to share opinions.
We are.
We don't always have to agree, So, moving on to the cast.
Oh, well, yeah.
So our titular hero, played by Brendan Fraser, Rick O'Connell, obviously the guy's been in the Mummy trilogy, which is probably most known for.
I think that this is probably his most well-known role.
100%.
If you think Brendan Fraser, you're thinking, the guy out the Mummy.
Yeah, I mean he's dabbled before in the early 90s with a film called like Airheads and.
Oh, I know he'd been around, and he will be around.
Well, he's still
subsequent,
he still dabbles now in TV things.
But this is his most well-known.
Yeah.
And I just have to have my brief gay moment. I had a mega crush.
I think he's a good-looking guy in it.
He's really good-looking guy.
I agree.
In it.
Handsome man.
Yeah, very 100%. Very handsome man.
Moving on to the rest of the cast. So Rachel Weisz, who obviously is a British actor, plays the character Evelyn. She was in the sequel, not number 3 though. She went
in number 3. She'd had enough, and justifiably so, because it's just some other woman in the cast. I've never seen her before in my life.
But Rachel Weisz has been in Constantine, which is the comic adaptation.
Very good. Yeah, very good.
And Lovely Bones, the Peter Jackson film based on the book.
Yeah.
About the kid that gets killed. So a couple of other characters.
She's in quite a lot of things actually now. She's made a bit of a reappearance. She's in a recent Marvel film, the Black Widow film.
Oh,
she's in that.
That's a load of shit as well.
Yeah, it's not very good, but still, yes, it isn't very good, but that's not the point.
She's in it.
Dog shit. But we're not talking about that.
But I tell you, who is a bit of a waste of time? John Hannah as brother Jonathan in the film.
Do you not like him? Do you not like Jonathan?
No, he's just a bit. He disappears almost in the film.
He doesn't disappear, he's in the whole film.
No, I know.
By disappear, if you mean present in nearly every scene of the film somewhere.
No. But he was in all 3 of them.
He was in all 3 of them.
He's getting he's paid his mortgage off.
Yeah.
And he was in 4 Weddings and a Funeral.
He was.
But he's mainly known in England for, like, he does a lot of these crime TV things,
Yeah,
like these ITV bollocks. Arnold Vosloo plays Imhotep, who is the mummy in the film.
I've never seen him in Elsevier, but I'm reliably told by the internet that he plays a lot of villains if ever he's playing anything.
Pretty much.
And to be fair, he's got the face for it, and
he
looks like a villain.
Yeah, but he was in Hard Target, that gets mentioned again. See the connection. He was in. Have you ever seen a series of films called Darkman?
No. Well, like I say, I've never seen him in anything.
And so basically in Darkman, there's Sam Raimi directed it.
Okay.
Which is really interesting, and it's very comic booky hero type thing. And Liam Neeson plays Darkman, like the main guy in it. But he was Darkman. They both swerved it and went straight to video with Darkman 2 and 3. Okay. And he was also in the G.I. Joe, the first one as well.
What's it?
As Zartan, yeah, he's like the guy who can change his face and stuff. You know, when he pretends to be the
Chris
president.
Columbus liked him.
Yeah.
Oh, in Stephen Summers, sorry, Chris Columbus. Get this,
Kevin J. O'Connor plays Bennett, who's like the comedy relief in the film.
Well, he's to be the guy. Yeah, he's to be your comic sidekick to the villain. Because Brendan Fraser's character, O'Connell and Evelyn, have got their sidekick character in Jonathan.
Yes.
And the slightly racist Arab guy. Like, early on, Omar Jalili's.
The comedian. I'll put him in the cast, yeah.
Strangely, that character, I used to think that character were hilarious, but that character would not be in anything nowadays. Wouldn't be in anything. You wouldn't get past the fucking... No. Like... when he's trying to hang O'Connell, and it's... Oh, no! His neck did not break! Now he must strangle to death. And you're like, what is this character nowadays? Madness. Yeah. Look for bugs. I hate bugs.
Another character of note, Ardeth, played by Odeo Fair, and he's been in like Resident Evil. He's been in a few of them Resident Evils, and he plays like the what are they called, the Magi?
The Magi.
The Magi. That's it. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much Omar Jalili as well, who's the crazy guy,
plays the crazy Egyptian prison warden, whatever he is.
You break, you buy.
Fun things, some fun facts about Brendan Fraser nearly died on set.
In that scene?
In that very scene where he gets it, he nearly died doing that. I mean, fucking commit to the role. They nearly... Could you imagine the headlines at the time? Do you know what I mean? Brendan Fraser is hung accidentally. He'd have hung to death.
Yeah.
Universal would have...
Yeah. They've never made another film in their lives, would they?
No, I know, exactly. Well, he definitely wouldn't have. Unless they brought him back from dead.
Yeah, mummy.
ILM did the effects.
Now,
Industrial Light and Magic.
I've got a lot to talk about.
Well, you will do, because you're going to judge it by today's standards. But, anyway, ILM.
Yes.
It was shot in Marrakesh in Morocco. They couldn't get into Egypt because of protests and political situations.
Did you know as well? They arranged like kidnap insurance for the cast.
They did. They
never told the cast and crew that that's how much danger they could possibly be in. And also as well, apparently there was a lot of sickness and illness on set because people were getting bit by bugs and stuff. And
there were a lot of people going down with heat stroke, and then someone came with a mystery drink for them all to drink that they had to drink every day, but I couldn't find out what. I thought they were going to then elaborate which was made of. Don't say.
No, don't say.
Don't say. No one says. So they made them drink a mystery concoction. What are they drinking?
What are you drinking?
Yeah. Thoughts and ideas and conspiracy theories, guys. Write in.
Please.
What are they making them drink?
God knows.
Just a few words from Stephen Summers why he wanted to make it is because he were a big fan of the old Universal monster films, and he remembered thinking when he was younger that Frankenstein just made him sad. Dracula he thought was cool, but the Mummy actually scared him, so he wanted to make his own version.
Interesting.
That's what he said.
And they give him 80 million to do it.
And they give him 80 million and go, well...
And I think he literally spent every fucking penny, because every penny is on that screen.
Literally every penny.
The production value is definitely there.
It's high, yeah. Yeah, they really went for it. But yeah, those are some fun facts. I still can't get over that they literally nearly hung Brendan Fraser to death.
True story.
I mean,
he's actually said that himself.
No, I know,
he said that story himself.
Yeah. So yeah,
a few facts there.
There is a few facts
there.
Like that.
So the synopsis of the film, guys.
Oh, hi, yeah.
So the film, if you to someone to say, describe the Mummy in a nutshell, I would say it follows an adventurer called Rick who travels to a place called Hamanaptra. Hamanaptra, the city of the dead, with a librarian and her brother, where they accidentally awaken Imhotep.
Yeah.
A cursed high priest with supernatural powers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So basically, as well, going off that, the film is about he's trying to bring his missus back to life in a
the high priest. He is. He's quite obviously a sorcerer as well.
Yeah, he dabbles.
He dabbles. He dabbles. That's why Pharaoh hired him in the first place. He could be a high priest. He also dabbles in a bit of magic, Your Highness. Oh, does it? Oh, does it? Naughty.
I want to see some
naughty.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
He dabbles.
Yeah, because the film opens with which is a very adventure filmy trope,
100%.
where you've got to set up the thing that we're going to talk about for the rest of the thing, and it gives his backstory. He's shagging the Pharaoh's missus.
Yeah.
Pharaoh finds out about it, kicks off. She has to kill herself. He decides to bring her back.
Yeah,
but then
mad spells,
priest,
magic shit.
Yeah, with mad spells. He's got mad spells.
He's got mad spells.
Got a book here. Mad spells.
It says it on it.
It's
Mad
spells. Mad spells. He doesn't say Book of Dead. It actually says mad spells.
Which one do you want? Book of Dead? No, give me the mad spells one.
So yeah, tries bring her back. Pharaoh's men stops him, and he gets cursed.
Yeah.
Right. I've always thought this is hilarious. It totally works in the context of the film. It absolutely works. And he's given the special death where he'll be eaten alive forever by these little bugs.
Yeah.
Right. And he will return as a plague upon mankind. Right. If he is ever woken up. Why didn't anybody in the Pharaoh's men just be like, okay, so we want to punish him. I get that. He's dabbling in black magic. He's trying to bring his missus back to life. It's not allowed. It says in the book you're not allowed to do that.
Then mad spells.
So, why don't we just do literally anything else, then curse him in such a way where he will bring back and literally end the world?
Yeah.
Why do we not do that, Pharaoh? Why don't we just kill it, lop his head off? No, just over and done with. Why have we got
why put a magic spell on him?
Why put a magic spell on him? So if he's woken up by literally anybody,
anyone at any
point in time ever.
I don't get that. They created him like, what's the point? You're just fucking yourself over.
No, it's the curse is that he's got to eternally suffer, never be dead, never therefore be with her.
Yeah.
I get it. As a plot device, totally works. No problem with it, and it's quite dramatic. And they throw him in the tomb with the. So I get it. I absolutely get it. But I just do feel like anyone would be like, why would we ever use this spell?
Yeah.
Oh, we're doing it. Why?
Yeah. No. That was my first point.
Not just to anyone. Why didn't they do it to one of his servants instead of him? Oh yeah. We'll bring the magical sorcerer to fucking life again.
Yeah.
Because he's not just that. He's not just a mummy. He's a mummy fucking sorcerer.
Yeah.
So yeah, slightly strange. Not a plot hole. I won't say it's a plot hole. Because it's literally...
No.
It's your framing device, isn't it?
That's your foundation.
It's your setup. But it's built on sand, some might say. Because why don't you just not do that? But anyway, yeah. But I do like it, though, and I like that whole Egyptian beginning.
Yeah. They do make an effort.
They do make quite a lot of effort. And here's where I just want to say not just about that scene, but about all the scenes that have the
Set in the
effects.
past.
Yeah, well.
Oh, okay, go on.
About all this, because the city is essentially CGI built by ILM, and obviously when the mummy comes back to life, it's all done by them. They don't really hold up nowadays. If you look at them, they look ropey.
Mate, that's all I was going to say.
Yeah, they look ropey.
My note here I've put G.I. Joe hasn't aged well, and it
hasn't aged that well.
Do you know what really was glaring, mate? You know the bit where he corners them in the market and he takes her hand, right? And the bit where he's got half his mouth, half of one side of his face is pretty much just sinew, and then on his neck. And I noticed it straight away. Mate, it's like he's moving in the CG.
Yeah,
he doesn't move with him, and I'm like, wow, okay.
Yeah, it's not just that. You can tell it's very CGI. It's very of its time CGI.
Yeah.
So it doesn't hold up now. And
these films, for me, mate, that I've mentioned before, that were made before this, and you watch them today, and you're like, CG holds up there.
Yeah, but I think it's rarer than you think.
No, it is.
I think it's
rare.
A lot.
There's only a handful of films where you think, wow.
Okay, it's very...
Even Lord of the Rings now, mate, Fellowship.
Yeah, I know, but...
you see it.
I know, but they did also chuck the fucking money at...
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But they did with this.
Well, they did with this, I suppose. But at the time, I was going to raise this, people thought the effects were pretty good at the time. People quite liked them at the time. We are now, 22 years further on.
Yeah.
I don't think it can be judged too harsh. It's got to be mentioned. They don't really hold up now.
No, I'm not going to.
But I don't think it hurts the film because I thought I think this film's got quite a lot of heart to it. As in, it's got quite a lot of. It's charming. It's a charming film. It's got quite a lot of charm to it. So I would rather watch a nice, charming, playful film that is a bit ropey with its effects rather than the just beautiful shells of nowadays, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I know. And again, it's of its time and you have to appreciate that. But again, revisiting it after so long for me, it was glaring like, oh, okay.
I don't think. See, again, I think you're being harsh.
No,
it's not glaring.
I'm not. It is, though.
It isn't, though.
It is.
It isn't. It's noticeable, but glaring. I'll agree with you where it's like it's noticeable, but I won't ever go so far as say it's glaring.
Especially
it isn't
that
glaring.
Scene and it was like, oh, okay.
I think people were impressed at the time with the sand wall with the face.
So going off that, kind of adding to that point, I remember the trailer at the time, and the bit with all the flies out of his mouth and where his face is in the sand. This through that in the trailer, it was very a special effectsy film because it is.
It is very special effects heavy. I think that's probably why people would notice that it doesn't hold up quite as well because it's very heavy on it.
Probably.
And it was getting towards that time where a little bit after this, you'd have films that are just nearly 100%.
But mate, this came out the same year as The Matrix.
It did come out the same year as The Matrix. Oh, here's another thing. The fun fact, it came out literally a month before The Phantom Menace in 1999.
Really?
A month before, so you snuck fucking ahead of that, Universal. Yeah. Universal saw the timescales that they were looking at, and I bet you they were like, no delays to this, absolutely not, get it out the fucking door now, we have got to beat Star Wars out of the door. Because, mate, I do think that this would have been buried by the tumult of history. This film, it would have been buried under all the discourse about Star Wars. And actually, even 2 months after that, the next Austin Powers came out. So
the Spy Who Shot Me.
So it would have been buried, lost to the annals of history.
That's an interesting.
But I thought that was a very significant. The last little bit of it, they must have thought, bang, get it out now, get it out. I thought that was a super interesting fact.
It is interesting. The print was probably still wet when they put it out.
Put it through. Come on, shit. Go beat Star Wars.
Oh shit. Little nice fact that.
Yeah, that is a nice fact.
Yeah, the context.
But yeah.
So again, like in the film, I think for me, the first hour. Right, no, let me roll back a little bit. Right, so let's start with what I thought about. I feel it's got a very pulpy tone.
Yeah,
like an adventure pulpy thing. I think it's got aspirations leaning on Indiana Jones.
Well, here's another thing. People, whenever there were criticisms at the time,
and I'll say why in a second.
And people went, well, it's attempting to be like Indiana Jones. When literally, though, the director was like, he'd said, like, what influenced you to make this sort of thing? And he was like, I wanted to make a universal horror film, but with Indiana Jones as my main inspiration. Okay. So it's intentionally so.
Yeah.
It's not like copying. There's nothing wrong with being derivative, is what you can be derivative.
No, and obviously he's trying to pay compliments to.
Yeah.
A good film at that time.
Oh yeah, and I mean, as far as influences, if you want to have influences, like Indiana Jones is a very nice one to be. Yeah.
But then for the first hour, I felt it was maybe a little bit uneven because there's a lot of darker moments in the first half of the film.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the first like because it's literally 2 hours long is this film, and literally the first hour is the build up trying to find the tomb, right? Now I don't think it hurts it. It's never bothered me. I've even wrote one thing that I really like about this film.
Okay.
Is actually none of the time's wasted. No time with with any of the characters is wasted. They're doing a joke, and there's a lot of gags. They throw one-liners at you just to see what sticks. Again, that doesn't bother me. I can see why it would bother other people, but there are just it throws jokes. So they're either making a joke. There's something happening plot-wise. There's a little piece of character development, or the plot's moving forward. There's no point where it's just like that was a pointless plot cul-de-sac.
Yeah, okay.
Going nowhere.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's incredibly streamlined. I think you can make the argument that you could shorten or lengthen bits, but I don't think you could make any argument for any particular scene where it's like you could cut that out and it don't need to be there, or that's hurting the plot to be there.
Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, I mean, I can see that, and I don't disagree. But my summarisation is for the first hour, it's just building up to the mummy, and then once you hit the hour mark, then the mummy gets unleashed. And then it's a series.
It's almost literally as you hit the hour mark.
Yeah, it is.
It's literally half the film, and then he's woke up.
He's there, and then I felt like, and I'm not saying this like having a pop or dogging it down, but then it's just a series of set pieces till the end. Yeah, and even the end set piece is a bit.
Really?
With the ghost chariot, and then he just goes. He literally walks onto the knife. He's just got a knife in his hand, a big sword, and he just walks onto the knife, and it's like he's mortal. He's dead. Oh, right. And then everywhere starts crumbling, which...
But again, that's it. It's kind of the point, because he's not had to worry about that stuff.
No. So I get that. He doesn't realise...
He don't realise that he's been stabbed, because he wouldn't have been bothered until seconds before.
Yeah, but the CGI ghost thing coming down the steps and pulling his soul...
Well, he beats ghosts with the...
Other black things.
Yeah. No, I get it.
And that's not me just having a pop at the CGI in that instance. I'm having a pop at the ending of... I felt a bit... These set pieces before that made the film, and it was... Oh, we've run out of ideas now, so we'll have... Oh, this chariot will come and they'll take his soul, and then he's mortal, and then he stabs him.
I mean... Yeah, it doesn't
There's
bother
no
me,
big...
But...
Do you know what I mean? There isn't a...
Well, what do you want? Because the big thing is... the whole place starts collapsing. That's it. That's not the...
Reminded me a lot, and the couple of shots and the framing, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah, well, it's yeah.
And that was years later. That was like
years
that was like 15 years later that they made that. And I thought Spielberg's definitely watched this.
He's definitely watched this.
100%. Because Universal, aren't they, back in the day?
Yeah, exactly. Back in the day,
you know, he used to make all these films for Universal, didn't he?
Yeah.
Do you want to see this?
Yeah. Do that.
Oh, I'm going to use that.
Yeah. Right. I thought to myself, it's a very gamey film.
Oh, okay.
And what I mean by this is, like, you got your plot device that sets... It's an adventure game film. You got your plot device that sets you off. You got your main cast of characters.
It is a fun adventure.
Yeah. And so you've got to follow the clues to get to the main place, or get guided to, and you run into various problems, people trying to stop you, whatever. And so there's that set piece. So you encounter people on the boat, and it's like you all have a shootout on the boat. And
the Daft Americans.
Yeah, and the Daft Americans. That's the only line, by the way, that I really hate, where Jonathan goes, "Oh, Americans," or whatever, and you're like, all right, just jump off the boat.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? All right. Yeah, they're there doing something while you're running around like a soft git. Like, just jump off the boat, please.
Yeah.
But... So, yeah, it is just like a game. You're moving from set piece to set piece. I always thought very enjoyably moving from set piece to set piece. But it's kind of like what it is, and I'm somewhat baffled that no one's made a big AAA game about it, if you know what I mean, because it's ideal for that.
But do you not think, in a sense as well, it's like... I was watching... Let me just get off topic here. I was watching Pirates of the Caribbean the other day.
It's very like Pirates of the Caribbean, actually, in its way.
But, and I'm going to use a term to kind of bridge between the two. I feel like Pirates of the Caribbean, because there wasn't any pirate films before that came out for a long time. People had moved on from pirates. But then Pirates of the Caribbean come along, and then it was the pirate films, and then no one's even bothered at their arse to try a different type of pirate film since
I
then.
guess so.
And I think this film did the same thing about the Universal monsters, because the films that they've tried to do after, like Van Helsing's not great, and he did okay, and then they did that Mummy with Tom Cruise, and that's really bad.
It's the worst.
It's really fucking bad, isn't it?
Mate, it's one of the worst films that I've ever seen.
But there hadn't been a big Mummy film for a while before. I think it's ruined it now.
It hasn't. No, I don't think it's. Listen, you can't say it's ruined it. People have got to have an appetite to make something. It hasn't ruined something. There's just not the. If you're that mad about it, you write one. You know what I mean? It's not.
Can't be asked.
Well, there you go. I'd
probably write a decent one as well.
Right. So yeah, that's it. I don't think that should ever be blamed on the film that did that. That should be blamed on the subsequent generation that didn't bother doing anything else with it. Do you know what I mean? I don't think you can blame this, because I think one of the reasons that it's like that is because for what it wanted to do, which is a family adventure film.
It is a family.
But by the way, they didn't necessarily market it like that. I thought when I were little, I was 10 when this came out. When I was younger, I thought it was going to be a horror film. I thought it was going to be a bit scary, and I was never into scary films.
He did play up that again,
but then what it is,
menacing character.
But what this is a family adventure film.
Yeah.
I think it's it's 12. What this is a family adventure film, and I don't think they marketed that particularly well. They make it look like it'll be a bit more scary than it actually is, which it isn't. It's quite a funny film.
So I think that, like you said there, you mentioned it before briefly, about the initial idea was a budget. More of a horror leaning, way more than the family adventure film that it turned out to be.
And I think with you exactly saying that, I think you would have said you'd have preferred it to be that, right?
No.
And therefore, it's because you might have a leaning more towards that kind of thing.
No.
Whereas I'll admit right now, and I'm sure his audience will figure out, I am a sucker for an adventure film.
100%.
I am absolutely. If I have a genre where it's just fucking Edgar, it's a biscuit to me. Yeah, I'll have a biscuit.
Chocolate biscuit, guys.
Exactly.
Is it a chocolate biscuit?
Is it a chocolate biscuit? To me, this film is. I love this film because it's a well-paced family adventure that whops you through this in 1920s, and they're raiding a tomb to try and get the treasure that they want, and they end up all fucked with woke up fucking 3,000-year-old wizard.
Again, it is.
You know what I mean? It's. I remember watching this, thinking, "Oh, I'm going to be a little bit scared." And I remember my mum going, "It's not scary. Grow up. You're like 10." And go watch it, and I was enthralled from beginning to end. I absolutely adored this film when I was a kid. I had it on video, and I had to buy another video because I wore it out.
Wow,
I loved this film.
Okay.
Right. Hence my slight defensiveness about it.
A little bit.
But I do think for a generation of early teenagers when this came out, 10 to maybe 14 or something like that, they'd have looked at this film and they'd been like, "Oh, wow. Loads of fun, nice, good adventure film. Adventure film.
I see that, yeah. And maybe that is a generational thing because, like I say, it came out the same summer as Star Wars.
Yeah.
And it comes.
But that's kind of what baffles me, that it still made that kind of money even though Star Wars were literally up its arse a month later. So this got enough good word of mouth for people to carry on watching it for another couple of
weeks.
Yeah,
before Star Wars, I've seen the mummy now.
Yeah, but he still made plenty of money, and it has had a legacy. I'm sure we'll come to the legacy.
Yeah. It does have a legacy, indeed. It does. Quite a big legacy.
Yeah. What I like about this film, it blends a lot of old tropes of an adventure film
again
together.
The pulpy.
It's a pulpy adventure film. I tell you what it reminded me of, like an Errol Flynn, a Robin Hood kind of Errol Flynn, swashbuckling, I suppose, would be a good word for it. And the action is never, such as it is, is never overdone, and it's not absurd. It strikes me as a way of
set pieces that are, and again, the production is the production's decent. It's really good. I appreciate it.
And do you know what? One thing I would like to say about generally the action set piece moments, I can see what's going on during the action. And you know what I mean? I love that in an action scene. I think it's so rare nowadays because a lot of films, it's too hectic, and some of them go all Dutch angle about it. You know what I mean? And
the whip, the pan.
Yeah. And you're like, what is happening? What is happening? Who's fighting? Why is he on floor now? This, not that. Wide shots.
Yeah, okay.
Long takes
I'll give
on
you
the
that.
thing.
I
like that.
Yeah.
And I don't normally notice stuff like that unless it's jarringly obvious. But I noticed in this film there's a conscious effort to make sure that the attention of the audience is always on as main characters and the fighting that they're doing at that particular time.
Again, solidly directed.
Solidly, competently directed.
Yeah, and I mean, the cinematography competent.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing to stand out, but it's not shit.
It's not shit.
Definitely not shit.
What I like to point out, decently done mediocrity. Well, it's not even mediocrity, just well done. That's fine, good.
You did a thing.
Good, yeah. And I like that. And I think it adds to my enjoyment in the sense of it is literally taking you from one set piece to the next set piece.
It does, especially the second half.
Yeah, it's like
unashamedly.
Problem to solve problem, next problem, problem to solve, next problem.
Yeah, each resolution presents its own issues, doesn't it?
Literally, they resolve that problem, and how it gets resolved causes the next problem. And that's what I mean with it being very gamey. This, it could be called fucking Uncharted.
The Mummy,
right? It's very like an Uncharted game, and I feel like that this film is what Uncharted, the recent thing, wanted to be. It wants that tone. It wants to grab that.
Oh, okay.
Just to grab fun family adventure. I think it just slightly goes like that. Like it just misses it.
Fingertips.
Misses it. Valiant attempt, but just misses it. And what I'd like to say about this film is that it was aiming for fun family adventure, and for me and a lot of people, it just hit straight there.
I get it. I see it.
Do you know what I mean? It hit straight there. It's action packed. Literally, there's barely minutes in the film where someone's not chasing someone's not shooting someone's not getting twatted by someone. And when there's not, they're usually making some daft joke.
Yeah.
Or talking about the problem, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I want to say it's very gamey. It's like that cutscene, action bit, cutscene, action bit. A very old-fashioned game, a very PS2 action game. Cutscene, action bit, cutscene, action bit.
You're right. I didn't see it like that. Obviously, you being more of a gamer than me. Like.
But I just think that interesting. Maybe again, that's another reason why I take to it, because I understand what's coming next. But I do like that. Every single scene after every set piece, the plot has moved forward.
Yeah.
And it's moved forward. And I do like that sense of progression in a film.
It does what it says on the tin.
I don't think even where you're saying the first part dragged, I can see what you're saying. I don't agree, but I can see it's over there. I can see it. I'm not going to it. But I can see what you're saying. But even that, I like that the plot is always moving forward. I at no point thought we're ambling on a road to nowhere.
No, I'll give you that.
And so many films. If there is a floppy bit of this, it's that early part of it. It's not in the middle, and I kind of like that. They kind of wobble a little bit at first. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like they're on.
It doesn't have a middle movie.
They gradually put the foot down on the pedal as the film moves on.
And they want you to. The reason that it takes so long is that they want you to build a rapport with these characters, particularly Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz.
Yeah, because it's like the peril you're going to see. Peril.
They want to build that up, and there's a couple of nice moments that I would say. Though the two of them, I'm not going to say they have fantastic chemistry, but they have good chemistry. They bounce off each other. They bounce off each other, and
the actors are all okay.
Really good. I really like Brendan Fraser in it. I think it's his part.
100%,
perfect casting.
Yeah.
Because what they wanted Daniel Day-Lewis to.
Oh no,
I'm not sure. They wanted Daniel Day-Lewis.
He would never have done that.
Well, no,
Daniel Day-Lewis never.
They wanted him for either Rick's part, or the Mummy. And apparently he thought more about doing the mummy's character, and I could see him doing that. I can definitely see him doing that.
Not his type of film.
Not his type of film, and he swerved it.
Yeah,
and justifiably so. And I don't think the fella playing Imhotep or Brendan Fraser. I'm really glad it was Brendan Fraser again. Woof. But,
he is a good-looking guy. 100%.
And he's going for that everyman action hero. Very much sort of what he's aiming for is very much sort of similar thing to what Bruce Willis is aiming for in Die Hard. He's a normal looking bloke. He's not
Oh yeah. But
hench
he's just
meathead
good looking in
action.
his face. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's just good looking in his
Handsome.
face. Yeah, but the part he's playing is aiming for an everyman.
Oh, he's not.
kind of
Yeah, he's not some kind of.
hench,
Yeah,
muscle
yeah,
bound.
yeah.
He's a
Super
soldier,
confident.
and he is super competent, and he has
Yeah.
been on adventures before. And
that's
obviously, as the film sets up, he were in the French Foreign Legion.
Yeah,
and,
that's the beginning
like,
of the film. Yeah, it's the shootout.
yeah. So he is hyper competent, but no, he's competent.
Yeah.
Even good, but not hyper competent at his job. The character is playing, and I like that as well. That again, that's very game character, main character.
No, you're right. I didn't even know. I think the game kind of comparisons are justified.
Yeah.
Now you've explained it.
I like Rachel Weisz in it as well. I understand what part she's
I
playing.
think at the time she was like, I need to make my name. I'm going to get
Yeah.
a big American, big budget Hollywood
Yeah.
film. Yeah.
And it totally worked for it.
yeah.
Totally worked for it. And
Librarian.
I think she's really good. Do you know what I like about that character? She is a damsel in distress occasionally. She has to be saved.
Yeah,
but she's not helpless.
No.
And she brings
that's a good point.
She's not helpless
Yeah.
by any means. And do you know one point what I really like where the Omar Jalili's character, he tries to grab onto her leg like, come and have sex with me and I'll let Rick go.
Yeah.
And she just twats his hand away like,
That's when he's
absolutely
hanging,
not. That's when he's hanging. When Brendan Fraser's literally dying. Literally dying.
On screen, he's
Yeah.
really dying right as we watch him.
Actually dying. And she brings her intelligence to the table. She makes use of it. Although she is the one that starts the whole thing. She reads from the Book of the Dead.
Librarian.
Isn't she the fucking... She should be able to see Book of the Dead. Well, not... All right. But then again, she sort of views herself as an Egyptologist, scientist kind of thing. She doesn't believe in all that.
Well, it does build her up at the beginning because to be this clumsy but competent person, intelligent person, when she knocks the fucking...
Yeah, so I've got...
One take?
I've got one take, yeah. But did you see the stunt double?
No.
It's a bloke. It's a bloke in a dress.
Shut up.
It's 100% a bloke in a dress. Bloke in a dress. I saw the Adam's apple, clear as day. Bloke in a dress. That like.
When she knocks the shells on,
I
it's
only
just like
I only
dominoes.
noticed it when I watched it for the show. I was like, bloke in a dress. That
No,
100%.
I didn't clock that. I didn't clock that.
But
Interesting.
yeah, again, daft little. She's clumsy, but very, very intelligent, quite resourceful.
Well, she's the one that, look, she can read and she can speak the language.
She can read Egyptian.
Yeah.
You know. But here's the thing: I like his little cast of characters.
Apart from the American characters, because they're just there to bulk out the cast, if I'm honest.
They are there to bulk out. Well, they're there to, again, as the plot device to get killed. They open the box.
Yeah.
Where that literally says, "Whosoever opens this box will be hunted down by the mummy." And sensibly,
Shall we open it?
Sensibly, the our Weasley character Benny legs it.
Oh, fuck that.
Absolutely legs it. And the rest of them open it, and they all get eaten. That's how he regains his powers, by eating. Well, not eating. That's the wrong word altogether. He doesn't eat them. Sort of absorbs them.
Absorbs them, yeah.
You know, watch the movie. You'll get what I mean.
Sucks them up.
Yeah. So yeah, it does that. Yeah, they're pointless characters, ancillary characters who are disposed of, like literally, in a literal sense, in their human life is snuffed out.
Yeah. Good.
But our core cast of characters. You've got the main man. Our leading lady, who is, as we've discussed, not a damsel in distress, which is nice for the time. We were still in the 90s of this sort of film. She might well have been just totally. Yeah. What way? Who described it? I was watching this reviewer one time who described a lot of women in films, a lot of women in action films, as a sexy lamp.
Yeah.
And what they mean by this, you could replace her with a lamp and nothing about the plot changes. She's just a prop to be moved around. Someone's nicked the lamp, go get the lamp back. She's not that. She is not that.
No, she
Rachel
is.
Weisz
She is.
is
She,
not
you know,
character,
she is
not that.
the third of the film.
Yeah.
You know, she is a third of the film.
And then there's our sidekick character, which is Jonathan, who he does bring something to the table in the sense of he is your comic relief, but I don't think he really is, because the whole film's a comic relief. Everyone cracks a joke.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
A bit of,
So I
he's
think
apart from the Americans, he's on my list of what's that character about? He's not needed. He wouldn't be needed. You're right, I suppose. Jonathan's, I suppose, not really needed in the plot, but he doesn't hurt it for me. No, at all. Okay,
and he also he brings to the table some understanding of why Evelyn's like, he's there as more of illumination onto Evelyn than he is
anything else.
Yeah, because they're almost like the opposite of each other. She's hyper intelligent but somewhat clumsy, but she's also very sincere and very heartfelt, whereas he's a little bit more and not really bothered about rules and stuff like that. It's just a bit of where she's very prim at the beginning.
Yeah, she's an English lady.
And he has to learn to be more resourceful, and she has to learn to be a bit more loose and go with flow a little bit. They're literally there to bounce off each other. One thing I want to point out, and I'm going to give my first negative about the film.
Go on.
It's a little bit. This film won't be made now in the same way with certain characters. The Arab characters wouldn't be anything like.
We've said that.
It is a little bit. Literally, any scene where there is an Arab character, except our Magi character, he is the one exception. They are universally depicted in this film as dirty, somewhat smelly, and vaguely ridiculous.
Yeah,
and you're like. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't get right. I don't think it comes from a harsh place. It's more to do with Omar Jalili's character, and also we mustn't forget that this is set in the 1920s.
Yeah,
is this thing?
Yeah,
and so it's from the attitude of Western imperial powers at the time. So just move on from it. But also, and you might not have noticed this because I know that. The copy that you watch didn't have great subtitles for the Egyptian parts of it. It
just says
ancient Egyptian, right?
Why did you watch it with subs?
Well, I know this film off by heart, so I know what he says.
Oh, right.
I already knew what it said. You know where Benny gets trapped by the monster, by the mummy?
Yeah.
And he goes in various religions, like in a Christian prayer, that doesn't work, and then he gets out a Muslim crescent and does a prayer, doesn't work, and then he gets out a Jewish star and speaks in Hebrew, and that's why he stops. He's an ancient Egyptian, the language of the slaves. And I thought Chris won't have got that.
No.
He won't have got that. He literally says...
It just says ancient
Egyptian, and when he's reaching for him and he goes... The language of the slaves, because he knows, because he's a Jew, the Hebrews were.
Oh, yeah. Let my people go?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, see?
And I thought Chris won't have got that.
No. Every time he talks, it just come up, mate.
Yeah. But I thought he wouldn't have got that. But also, that moment nowadays wouldn't be in it. Jewish person... Oh, yeah, I'll work for you, evil person, and tries to give him gold. Give gold to the guy. It would not be in a film. And justifiably so. It's a bit weird now looking back at. I never thought of that when I were a kid.
Well,
I used to think it was a really clever moment where it's the language of the slaves because he's a Hebrew. But nowadays, just think of the fucking optics. The Jew betraying all of the good guys for some gold. Yeah, and you're like, oh, weird. And I've only really thought about it when I've come back to watch it for this film. Weird. It's a bit racist. In a way, bit racist. Bit racist.
So, moving on to the impacts of the film.
Well, you can't say that didn't get any sequels, can you? You can't say that this film did not spawn other films.
It literally spawned a small industry.
Yeah.
literally of Egypt set adventure films.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, you know, it was based on the original 1932. We had The Mummy Returns a couple of years later. Then we had Mummy 2 and the Dragon's Emperor in 2008.
Oh, dog shit film. Right, here's my ranking of mummy films, because I'm an actual fan.
I know you are.
Right. There's this film, which should be treated on its own.
Yeah, okay.
As we are, indeed, because we're doing a show about it.
Yeah.
Mummy Returns is not as good, but perfectly passable.
Continuation.
And it's literally a continuation of their story. Yeah. Kid's a little bit annoying, but he would be annoying. I get it.
He's a little twat.
I get it. I get what they're doing there. That one is weaker for the simple than this film, which is just bang 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 adventure film.
Yeah.
That one is a little bit weaker because it brings in bullshit, law bullshit that I don't need.
Mad spells.
And then many mad spells. Evelyn is a reincarnation of one of Pharaoh's daughters, and you're like, we didn't need that.
No,
did not need that at all.
Just he's escaped again.
You could have just. Yeah, he's escaped again.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
He's coming after you, and that's the story.
And then it spawned a spin-off one, which is The Scorpion King.
Which is a prequel, the first.
Which is a prequel, because The Scorpion King is is The Rock, and he's in Mummy Returns as the thing we don't want. Imhotep's trying to wake him up.
Yeah.
And we don't want him to go, so we're trying to stop him.
Yeah.
Right? So cool. But then he gets his own spin-off thing, which actually I do like. It's a very B and C movie, but
I've never seen it.
Watch it. Watch it. It's very B film. It's very B film.
I mean, they made 5 of the fuckers.
Yeah, just watch first
and a reboot.
Yeah, just watch first.
They want to reboot it.
Scorpion King.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's pretty much going to happen.
Nowadays, in franchise land that we live in nowadays, it'll probably do alright, to be fair.
And it also spawned an animated TV series that lasted 2 seasons. And it does, it's a film that is still people know about, so it stayed in the consciousness for 20 odd years.
Just the third film, I've just got to speak about the third film for just a brief second.
Go on.
For fuck's sake, what is that? For one, it's about the mummy. Everyone expected it to be in Egypt. Oh, we're in China, right? Yeah. Okay, it's random and shit film.
Dog shit.
Yeah,
literally dog shit.
So go on then. You give your final thoughts.
Right, final thoughts in a nutshell. I don't hate it. I don't rate it. I'm gonna give it a 6.
Okay.
Yeah, it is what it is. I'm not in any rush to rewatch it.
Okay.
And it was alright. Like I say...
right. Here we go then.
Not great, but it's alright.
I think you're being harsh.
Right.
I think you're being a bit film snobby about it. But, okay, fine. If I gave it the rating that I want this, because I love this film, it's one that I'll always come back to. So if I were gonna give it that rating, I'd give it an 8 because I fucking love this film.
Okay.
But in terms of fun family adventure film, I'll give it a 7 because I really enjoyed this film. I like basically everything about it. It would be disingenuous for me to give anything else.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
So you like it more than me?
I do like it.
And that's fine.
I like it significantly more than you. And
yeah, that's true.
I love this film. It's one of my favourite films ever. Not because it's anything substantial. It's because it does exactly what you want it to do.
I think we'll end the show on that note.
Yeah.
So guys, why don't you give this film a watch and give us some feedback, give us your ratings.
Who do you agree with?
Yeah.
Me or Chris?
Yeah.
Me or Chris?
Bit of a divisive episode. So guys, thanks for joining us on the show again for this episode. We hope you join us again. Get us on the socials. So it's a goodbye from me.
And me.
Take care. Look after yourselves and each other.
Bye.
Hey. Welcome back to another episode of The Vault of Cult with your host Chris.
And Mark, are you alright?
I'm alright, Mark. How are you?
I'm pretty alright.
Good. So thanks for joining us, guys, on another episode of the show. Thanks for all the support. Get us on the socials. You know the score by now.
Yeah.
Keep
we're on
listening.
Instagram.
Yeah.
And that's it.
an email.
Oh yeah, an email.
thevaultofcult@gmail.com.
Very good.
Yeah,
Very
and to find us on Instagram, we are at the Vault of Cult. That's at the
Vault of Cult.
Obviously, obs.
So yeah, just go there with any of your suggestions, anything you've got to say, any
feedback.
Yeah, feedback of any kind would be absolutely delightful, because we need to know what you want. Tell us what you want, people.
Please.
Tell us what we want. We're just here to please you. Tell us.
We are actually on our knees.
Yeah.
Right now.
So yeah, if you'd like to do that.
We'd really like the feedback, guys. And again, like we say all the time, give us some suggestions. We know you're listening, and we really appreciate that. But get involved in the show.
Yeah.
That's what this is about.
Yeah, we'll happily interact with you.
We'll indulge.
We'll indulge you. And speaking of, because we've got a nice indulgent hot chocolate for our beverage for the show.
Oh, beverage for the show. We've actually made an effort this week.
We have actually made an effort, unlike last week where it were just... Yeah, we forgot to ask you, so we're just having a cup of tea. Yeah. But although sticking with no alcohol, got hot chocolate, and shout out to me mate Mill for giving us this one, because she very rightly pointed out I haven't got big booze every single time.
Not at all.
And I'm like, yeah, you're quite right.
Thanks for the suggestion as well.
Thank you for the suggestion. So yeah,
beverage for the show this week is hot chocolate with squirty cream, marshmallows, and a flake. And
we didn't half-arse it.
Oh no, get on the Instagram, you'll see the picture of it. Get on Instagram.
Oh no, we didn't half-arse it.
No, none at all. So guys, again, this is a show where we discuss films. So Mark, what we'll be discussing in this week's show?
Well, in this week's show, we'll be discussing The Mummy.
The Mummy.
The Mummy. In 1999.
That's when it came out.
It is indeed. So stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned, guys. Keep listening. We hope you enjoy the show.